welcome to this edition of From the Newsroom. I am Ragini Verma. Ever since the failure of the CDMA auctions this November, there have been talks about the future of the CDMA technology. To talk more about it, we have Shauvik Ghosh with us, who has been tracking these developments closely. Thank you, Shauvik, for joining us.
Thank you.
First of all, Shauvik, if you could give us some perspective as to why the CDMA auctions this time around failed.
There's only one reason. It was just too high a price. It was priced, the reserve price was far too high. Even in the GSM spectrum, you had really rich circles like Delhi and Bombay that were not bid for at all. The government in all its optimism decided to price the spectrum at such a high price that it was just not viable for the operators. Operators who have been running the business Tata Teleservices for 10 years decided against bidding for the spectrum even for 10-20 crore Assam and Jammu and Kashmir circles because it's just not viable at that price.
So both the companies, Tata and Videocon, did not find it viable as against the price that was set. But just to compare the two technologies, DSM versus CDMA, which one is better of the two?
So technically speaking, if I leave it at just the 2G level, then CDMA is far more efficient. It packs so many more subscribers. It requires fewer towers. Data speeds, it allows for data speeds, whereas your older GSM, not the evolved version, but initial GSM did not allow even the smallest amount of data. Now, of course, GSM can allow some amount of data, but CDMA provided that data. That was that big leverage that CDMA could give you faster data before the evolution into your 3Gs and third generation technologies and fourth generation technologies. Now, of course, things have evolved.
Right.
But if I put this in perspective, the CDMA really lost out to GSM on the fact that you couldn't change handsets. You couldn't interchange handsets. You couldn't, like for instance, the GSM operator was able to offer his subscribers feature-rich phones, fancy phones with color displays and things. Till about 4 years back, you couldn't get that in CDMA. You still had that same handset.
Right.
A subscriber wants that, to go along with the technology, wants to evolve.
Right.
Even now, open handsets that are available with CDMA, they haven't done as well because it's just that ecosystem for the technology hasn't worked out for it.
Right. But then, of course, so you are suggesting that CDMA does have its own advantages. So in that sense, the fact that the November auctions failed may not really mean the end of the technology per se. So in terms of future, what do you think we can expect from the CDMA technology? What can be really expected and how can it be,
So that is the beautiful part about technology.
Okay.
So while GSM at the 2G level, at the second generation level, was able to provide a certain amount of data, but then it hit an inflection point. It could not evolve anymore.
Okay.
And your present 3G technology, your third generation technologies that are being used by the GSM guys, that are being offered by the GSM guys, finds its evolution in CDMA. CDMA, that technology where it allowed for data, that data which was disincentivized. So earlier you had your subscriber link criteria which made the operators go after voice customers and data was kept to the side. So then CDMA couldn't really leverage its technology. That was able to evolve. So now in a country like India where you're just waiting for that explosion of data, it's just there's so much a nascent demand. Suddenly out of the blue, you're going to see this huge, explosion of data usage, more wireless data usage. That's where CDMA wins because here you have technology. You have a technology that offers you 100 megabytes per second on your phone, wireless. GSM just hasn't been able to evolve to that point. Your HSPA plus, your WCDMA, it just hasn't.
So clearly the demand for high-speed wireless data can be met by the CDMA technology, and net it will boil down to how much industry and government together can do to take out the maximum usage and utilization of this particular technology.
It's up to the government to kind of incentivize it and support it, and it's up to the industry to kind of support it because, it's a technology. It needs that ecosystem around.
So clearly from the discussion, we can now conclude that this may not really mean the end of CDMA technology, and there is clearly a lot of potential that needs to be exploited. On that note, of course, it's a wrap on this discussion. Thank you, Shauvik, for joining us. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for more.